Wi-Fi right now, so we'll start the webinar right now. Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Welcome to Hoffman's webinar on the role of plate heat exchanger in the sugar and ethanol industry. I'm Mona Zhao, and I will be your host for this session. Today, we'll walk you through key process steps in sugar and ethanol production, like juice heating, evaporation, and crystallization, and explore how plate exchanger can boost energy efficiency, reduce fouling, and improve overall reliability. We'll also hear from industry experts who will share real-world application and answer your question live at the end. So if something sparks your curiosity during the session, feel free to drop your question in the chat box. And let's get started. Moving on to the next page, the agenda. So now take a quick look at what we are going to talk about for today. We'll start with a brief introduction to set the stage, followed by an overview of the plate exchangers, what they are, how they work, and why they matter in this industry. Next, we will dive into the sugarcane to ethanol process, then move on to the sugarcane to sugar process, breaking down key thermal steps along the way. After that, we'll talk through some common real-life issues facing these applications and how smart thermal design can help solve them. We'll then introduce Hoffman and what we do to support sugar and ethanol industry worldwide. And finally, we will wrap up with a live Q&A. So feel free to drop your question in the chat box as we go. We'll address as many as we can in the end. So going to the next page. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce today's speaker, Alan. So Alan is a self-representative at Hoffman with over 4 years of experience in the plate heat exchanger industry. He holds dual degree in chemical engineering and environmental engineering, which gives him a solid foundation in both technical and sustainable process. Throughout his career, Alan has specialized in helping clients optimize their thermal system, from improving heat transfer to solving real-world fouling and maintenance challenges. He's also an active contributor to major industry events like ADPAC, where he shares his insights on emerging trends and application. Alan will be guiding us through the technical portion of today's session. So Alan, I'll hand it over to you and say a quick hello to everyone.
Okay, thank you, Mona. Hello, everyone. My name is Alan, and in the following parts of today's webinar, I'm going to share with you some basic information about plate heat exchanger and some applications of it related to today's main topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Now that we meet our speaker, I also like to take a moment to introduce myself as your host for today's session. I'm Mona Zhao, marketing manager at Hoffman. My focus is on driving global brand growth through linking strategy, so you can see me a lot in our linking page. I also do product positioning and international outreach. I hold a master's degree in communication from Johns Hopkins and have completed certification as from Google and HBS. So I'll be guiding us through the session flow today, and I'm excited to share this time with all of you. Also, we'll be introducing Vital, our special guest. Vital is a mechanical engineer here at Hoffman. He holds a master's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Washington and brings focuses expertise in plate heat exchanger design and mechanical application. So throughout today's session, Vital will be providing additional insight and technical support, especially during the case discussion and Q&A section. So Vital, feel free to say a quick hello to everyone.
Hi, nice to meet you guys.
So going to our core topic, moving on to the next slides. Now that we finished the introduction to the whole speaker and special guest, it's time to get into the core topic, plate exchangers. Before we begin, we'd like to know more about you. So you will see a quick poll on the screen. Feel free to select the role that best describes yourself. This helps us to understand our audience better and adjust the content to make it more relevant for you. We will take about 1 minute. So once you answer, Alan will take us through what plate exchanger are and how they work. Now we do see most of you have answered the question, and we see a lot of you are engineer, technical specialist, or operation plant manager, which is great, which is super relevant to what we are talking for today. And we definitely will think this will be a smooth process for everyone who are so much related to this role. So so let's begin with the topic. I'll hand it over to you, Alan.
Okay, thank you, Mona. Hello, everyone. Before we dive into today's main topic, I'd like to talk about the heat exchanger. Okay, so what is a heat exchanger? A heat exchanger is a device that transfers heat between two or more fluids, allowing the thermal energy exchange without direct mixing. And in my opinion, heat exchanger is a kind of sensitive device because it plays a very important role in many different industries. For example, in food and beverage industries, we use it for cooling, for heating, or pasteurization process. And it comes in direct contact with our food. That's why I call it sensitive. And in the heat exchanger family, there are so many types of heat exchangers. So for example, the first one, cascaded plate heat exchanger, or GPHE in abbreviation. So here I have a example or a small model to show you how it looks like, okay? And cascaded PHE is a kind of heat exchanger with the plates, gases, and frame as its core parts, where the plates will be stacked one by one, like here, stacked one by one. And the gaps between heat transfer plates allow the fluids flowing independently. And the cascades act as the seal, helping to create the separate channels. And of course, there are several benefits to use this type of heat exchanger. For example, it has a very high heat transfer efficiency, and it is very convenient to assemble or disassemble this type of PHE, so it is easy to maintain and clean it. And it is always the best choice for food and beverage and pharmaceutical industries. Okay, the second one is brazed PHE, and this type of heat exchanger consists of corrugated metal plates stacked and brazed together using copper or nickel alloy. That's why there is no gaskets in this type of PHE. And the advantages of this type of PHE is including first one, the high efficiency of heat exchange, and it has a compacted design, and it is cost effective and has a short response time. Okay, next one we have semi-welded plate heat exchanger. I think this type of heat exchanger is interesting in terms of the structure because the design combines both welded and gas-gated channels. And it will be used when one of the fluids is not compatible with gaskets, for example, the ammonia. And this type of PHE is usually used as condenser and evaporator. In the condenser, the cooling medium flows through the gasketed channel, and the steam enters the welded channel. And in the evaporator, the working principle is reversed. And here down below, you could see the picture of the condenser and the evaporator. And we will talk a little bit more in the following slides. Okay, the last one we have multi-stage plate heat exchanger, and it is also a kind of cascaded PHE, but it looks different. As you can see at right side of this page, you can see the picture of this PHE. It looks different from the general cascaded plate heat exchanger. And it can be used for heating, cooling two or more fluids using usually separated by the intermediate frame. So the frame is special one. And the material for the frame is usually stainless steel, and it can be made into 2, 3, 4, or more stage. It depends on the design and requirements. And this type of PHE is widely used in the pharmaceutical, and food and beverage industries. And there are some benefits to use this type of PHE. So it has a high efficiency, compact design, and easy maintenance. And the last one is it is easy to expand the capacity of this type of PHE by adding more plates into the units. Okay, so Wido, I got a question for you. So as you can see, there are so many different types of heat exchangers which can be used in different processes, different industries. So could you please share with us more information about the differences of these heat exchangers? For example, what is the maximum design temperature or design pressure for this different type of heat exchanger?
I think it is 45 bar G with temperature limit of 225 for breathe the heat exchanger. And for the other kinds of exchangers, all of them should be under 30 bar G with the limit of 200 degrees.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your answer. And actually, I think that that's a perfect answer for these questions because it helps a lot when you are trying to figure out which type of PHE is the best for your applications. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alan, for working out through the different type of plate exchanger and their unique application. And thank you, Wido, for answering the question for us. So before we dive into the sugarcane to ethanol process, we love to take a quick sense of how familiar our audience is with this process. So you will see a quick poll right now. On the screen, we'll take a few seconds to answer. This will help us to understand your current level of knowledge so we can tailor the explanation or the example accordingly. So we'll probably take a minute to answer these questions. And once most of us submit the answer, we'll be moving to the next parts.
Yes. So in my opinion, it's a good question, and just don't be stressed because if you're not from this industry, it's a little bit tricky.
Yeah. And we do see all of you have answered the question already. And we do see there are different type of answer that are like probably evened out. A lot of you choose juice heating, a lot of you choose fermentation, and some of you choose not sure, which is totally fine. That Alan will explain to us the detailing of sugar cane to ethanol process. So I'll hand it over to you, Alan.
Okay, so now let's talk about the sugar cane. And there are so many different products are made from sugar cane. For example, the bagasse and sugar and ethanol, of course, and so on. But today we are going to talk about the production of ethanol and the sugar from the sugar cane under the help of PHE units. So now let's see how it looks like of the ethanol production process from the sugar cane. Okay, so let's get started from the top right corner. And first step, we collect the sugar cane and chop them into the segments, and then we extract the juice from it. Okay, so as you know, there are some impurities in the juice. That's why we need a clarification tank to remove most of them. And in this process, we add sulfuric acid, which helps to precipitate the impurities more easily. Okay, and next comes the magic of fermentation process in the fermenter, where the carbohydrates will be broken down. But before the fermentation process, we're going to use a cascaded plate heat exchanger to adjust the temperature to a perfect level for the fermentation process. Okay, and here is the real case picture made in Hoffman, and we took this picture at the factory. Okay, and so now after the fermentation process, we will have the crude ethanol. And now the task is to remove the water from the crude ethanol to increase its concentration. So to reach this purpose, we're going to use the triple effect evaporation, as you can see down below this process. So what is the triple effect evaporation? It's a 3-step evaporator that recycles steam to boil off the liquid from the, let's say, the ethanol. And as you can see, it should be familiar to you of this evaporator and the condenser. And here are some real case examples. Okay, and this is condenser. Okay, but before this evaporation, we're going to use one more GPHE to preheat the ethanol. And after this process, most of the water are removed, but to further remove the water in the ethanol, it will be fed into the distillation tower to undergo the further purification of the ethanol. And after this process, we get the relatively high purity ethanol. Okay, and that's the basic process of the ethanol production from the sugarcane. And of course, if you get any question, we are going to talk about it in the Q&A session. Okay. So let's move on to the next application. It's sugar production from the sugarcane. Okay, so the same as before, we're going to talk about from the top right corner. And to catch up this flow diagram, please focus on the yellow line, which shows you the root of the sugar juice. Okay, so it starts from the mix of the sugarcane juice and the impurities, of course, and with a pH value from 5.2 to 5.7. And the first step, we add the calcium hydroxide, aka the milk of lime, to create an alkaline environment. And this process is called alkalization process. And this process stabilizes the quality of the juice because the impurities like protein, fats, or pectin are reacting with the lime to create the compound that are removed from the juice. Okay, and we also added the sulfide, which can improve the flocculation effect. Okay, so next it will be heated up step by step to 100 degrees Celsius by using this. In this case, it's 2 PHE units. And you may think that why we use 2 PHE units to heat it up step by step instead of using only 1 unit to heat it up directly to 100 degrees Celsius. So Guido, could you please give us some explanations on that?
Yep, the main purpose is avoiding the production from caramelization.
Okay, okay, it makes sense because sometimes slow is fast. So we have to heat it up step by step to let's say maintain the quality of the juice.
Yeah.
Okay. So next step, it comes the purification process. Consists of the clarification and filtration. And after this purification process, we have the clear juice. Okay, so again, here we have the triple effect evaporation. And of course, before it goes to the triple effect evaporation, there will be a cascaded PHE to preheat it. Okay, so to further remove the water from the sugar juice, it will be fed into the boiler. And after this boiler, we will get the crystal sugar. But there is still something we don't need in the solid sugar, for example, the molasses. So to remove the molasses from the solid sugar, we use the centrifuge. which acts like a giant washing machine to forcefully separate the sugar crystals from the molasses. And then after all the processes above, we can deliver the sugar products to the customer. Okay. And here are some real case pictures. Okay.
Thank you, Alan, for the detailed explanation for both sugar to ethanol and to sugar cane to ethanol and sugar cane to sugar process. So before we move into the next part, where we will look at some real life common issues, you will see another poll on the screen right now. So this will help us to understand how well the previous content landed and whether there are any key areas we should clarify further. So feel free to take a moment to respond. And your feedback will help us to keep the session helpful and relevant moving forward. We'll probably take a minute to answer this. And this question is also a little bit tricky because you don't see that you have to add it one by one from the previous contents. We see a lot of questions. We see a lot of answers right now, and most of you have the correct answer, which is a 60° to 105°. This is a tricky question since like you have to add it one by one, but we do see a lot of you are keeping up through the pace, and we could definitely like clarify in the further. So, Alan, I will hand it over to you to talk about some real life common issue further on.
Okay. Oh, thank you. So when it comes to the real life issues, I like to say that most of them are deadly issues. Okay, so let's see it together. And actually, most of these issues in the heat exchanger industry, they are connected with each other. So it means that if one issue occurs, it will trigger a domino effect. So that's why the custom designs and regular maintenance are really important for heat exchangers. And so let's talk about the first most common issues we are facing in this industry, which is the corrosion issue. And especially in the food and beverage industry, the carbon steel is generally not used because it will rust when it in contact with water or the product. Instead, the stainless steel is used for most of the PHE structures like the plates, like the frames, the carrying bars, etc. Okay. Let's see, the second one is the leakage. Okay, the leakage often caused by corrosion, incorrect installation, or the application of inappropriate pressure, causing one or both the fluids to leak. And therefore, it is necessary to choose the right material for the plates and gasket. And next one is contamination. And contamination actually is also a most common issue in the food and beverage industry because it happens when the fluid is not properly sealed in the PHE unit. And the most common source of the pollution is coming from the cracks of the plates. And of course, it can also be caused by the external environment where the PHE is installed. Okay, the last one is clogging, and it is caused by the particle buildup. And I think it is easy to get this point because try to imagine that there are so many different types of products with relatively big particles size. They are easy to be accumulated in the gaps between heat transfer plates, so the clogging occurs. And I think, but don't worry, Hoffman is here. And I think these issues can be perfectly prevented by choosing the right materials and regular maintenance. And if you have met or you are struggling from these issues, you can just contact us. We can help to figure out what's going on and provide our best solutions for you. Okay, and I think that's all my part. Thank you for your guys' attention, and I give it back to Mona. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. So now that we cover all the technical content, we like to briefly introduce who we are at Hoffman. So Hoffman specializes in plate heat exchanger solutions, offering a wide range of product, services, and support to industry around all of the world. So from design to delivery, we are committed to helping our clients improve their efficiency, reduce filling time, and meet their thermal process needs. So in the next few slides, we will show you more about our product capability and how we support project just like yours. So moving on to the next slides. Talking about Hoffman product, here is a look at the main plate exchanger product we offer at Hoffman. So we provide a full range from gasketed and semi-welded model to stainless steel and brazed plate heat exchanger. Each type is designed to meet specific process needs depending on pressure, temperature, and fluid characteristic. We also offer specialized design like plate evaporator, condenser, which we talk about today, welded PHE, and our compact Hoffman block and plate and shell unit for more demanding application. So whatever your industry requirements, we are confident that there's a solution in our lineup that fits. So if you're interested in, please contact us after this, and we'll have our contacts at the last page. Moving on to the next page. So here we have HFM Select. HFM Select is our in-house software tool designed to help you choose the right plate heat exchanger for your specific needs. So within just a few input, like your flow rate, temperature, and media type, the system will recommend the most suitable model from our product range. So if you are not super familiar with the plate heat exchanger, which is totally fine, you can just go to our online website and search for the HFM Select. This tool will definitely help you to find the exactly suitable model for you. And moving on to the next page. So our services, in addition to our product, Hoffman also provides a wide range of services to support our customer throughout the entire life cycle. From filling inspection and cleaning, PHE design, inventory management to local logistics, the on-site services. We also offer training courses, a tool package from a maintenance, and online PHE eShop for easy access. And we even have souvenir to share our brand with partners around the world. And I think Alan has a souvenir that I just shared with us earlier. Those are the small souvenir we have right now. And if you're interested in, please contact us later on.
And we have another version. It's not transparent, but really lovely.
Yeah. So going to the next part, we'll have solutions. So HFM solution are used across a wide range of industry, not just sugar and ethanol, what we talk about today, but there are some other key sectors we support, from paper pump, edible oil and yeast, to fertilizer, refrigeration, beer brewing, and so much more. And of course, we also have we also serve some essential industry, like pharmaceutical, what we talked about related earlier, dairy, beverage, wine, HVAC system. Each of these sectors come with its own thermal challenges, and our goal is to helping solve them efficiently and reliably. And we will show a few more applications in the next slides. So this slide shows even more industry, like where Hoffman plate heat exchanger solution are applied. We work with sector like oil and gas, LNG, fuel cells, power plants, as well as marine system and data center. So our technology also support district heating, solar power, wastewater treatment, and more specialized area. So no matter the complexity of the industry, we aim to deliver efficient, durable, and cost-effective thermal solution tailored to each application. So going to the next page. Now we do see a design and quality test. This slide highlights how Hoffman approaches product reliability throughout both smart design and strict qualified testing, helping prevent issues like leakage and corrosion, which Alan shared earlier, are common in real life application. So on the left, you will see a finite elements analysis simulation. We use this during the design phase to identify the stress points and ensure our plate design can withstand pressure without wrapping or cracking. On the top row shows two key tests. A hardest test to make sure our material meets strength standard. A tensile test to assess how they perform under mechanical loads. At the bottom, we have dimension and weight verification to ensure parts meet tight tolerance and a handheld XRF device that confirm the metal composition, so we know we are using the right corrosion resistant material. Together, these steps allow us to catch potential issue early and deliver heat exchanger that are not only efficient but durable and dependable in the long run. Going to the next parts. So who acknowledge us? At Hoffman, quality and reliability are the core of everything we do. And that commitment is reflected in certification we earn globally. So we are proud to be recognized by a respected organization like ISO, CE, 3A, BV, SGS, PED, and so much more. These certifications cover everything from product safety and design standard to environmental management and workplace safety. We do have some screenshot on the right if you are interested in looking, but these are just some of it. We do have some more of the certification that we earn. These serve as a proof that our system meet the international benchmark. So who trusts us? We are proud to be trusted by some of the world leading brands across food, beverage, consumer good, companies like Unilever, Nestle, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, and Hershey rely on HFM for efficient, reliable, and customized thermal solution. Our partnership also extends to Doyle, Qingdao, and showing our brand global presence and in industry credibility. These long-term relationships reflect the trust we earn through quality, consistency, and strong technical supports. So going to the last part, we have the Q&A session right now. So now that we come to the final part of our webinar, the Q&A session, thank you all for staying with us throughout today's content. We cover quite a bit from plate heat exchanger type to real product application in sugar and ethanol industry. We also received some quick question in advance from LinkedIn and from the chat box right now. But we'll take a few minutes, maybe 1 or 2 minutes to let all of you to start addressing more questions. And during this part, our special guest, Vital from Mechanical Department, will helping us to answer all these questions. So feel free to drop any question that you want to ask right now. As we are waiting for more questions to be dropped, I do see a lot of you have dropped a question earlier. So as others are going to dropping more questions, we can begin to choose a few most frequent asked questions. Since I do see here, a lot of you ask, how can I choose the right plate exchanger for my sugar or ethanol plants? Vital, could you please answer this for us?
Yeah. Firstly, you are supposed to working with a specialist like Hoffman to ensure that your equipment keep efficiency and reliability. And the fluid types, flow rates, temperature, and pressure, all of them need to take in considering. And the plate material should be suitable for sugar or ethanol processing conditions.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Vital, for the answer. We're super thankful for the answer, since a lot of you have asked earlier about this. And we do see David has asked, how often do I need to clean or service a plate exchanger in daily use? This is a great question since we just talked about the corrosion, about the maintenance. So Vital, could you answer this for us?
Yes, it's a common case for real life. I recommend you need cleaning and make a maintenance every month. And it's also depending on your specific processing conditions.
Thank you, Vital, for the answer. So the third question that I will have Vital to answer is, can I replace my current shell and tube heat exchanger with a plate one? And what are the improvements will I see? Vital, could you answer this for us?
Yes, absolutely. You can change your equipment. The plate heat exchangers provide higher thermal efficiency and compact size, easier maintenance, and lower fuel costs.
Thank you, Vital. We do see this a lot because not all of you are using plate exchanger right now. Some of you are still using shell and tube. So learning the benefit from switching is definitely will help you doing the application further. So we do see Mary ask, what are common mistakes to avoid when using plate exchanger in sugar or ethanol production? Vital, could you answer this for us?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think mostly the damage could be avoided by regular cleaning and proper gas selection and maintenance schedules, particularly critical in sugar or ethanol production processing.
Thank you, Vital. Since the timing is coming to the end, we probably will only choose one last question right now. But if you have more questions, which is fine, we will definitely email you back the answer that you want to get later on. So the last question I will choose is from David, which I also see a lot in the chat box, which is, what are the signs that my current heat exchanger is underperforming and might need an upgrades?
Indicators include decreased heat transfer efficiency, increased pressure drops, and leakage and higher efficiency consumption. And if you notice these signs, an upgrade or thorough maintenance may be necessary for you.
Thank you, Vital. So since time's assuming we are ending the Q&A session right now, going to the next page is thank you all for joining us today. So that wraps up our webinar today. Thank you for staying engaged throughout this session. And if you have any follow-up question or project inquiry, feel free to reach out. You can contact us by phone, email, or through our contact channel list here. We are always happy to help with technical support, product selection, or just to continue the conversation. Thanks again for being here, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.